We'd love for you to come stay with us at the Interstate Corridor Motel.
Good evening, you're listening to GhostLine. I'm your host, as always, Julian Cross, and if you're new to the show, this is the part of the night where we open the lines and see what kind of strange corners of reality people have wandered into this week. Alright, let's see who's first. GhostLine, you're on the air. Evan tells me we have Alex on the line. Alex, welcome to the show. Where are you calling from?
Calgary, District 5, actually.
Oh, my neighbor in the Rockies. All right, Alex, what's on your mind?
Okay, so this might sound really stupid.
That's often how the interesting ones start. Go ahead.
I was at work yesterday, just talking with a coworker in the break room. Completely normal conversation. And then something weird happened.
All right, walk me through it.
I was in the middle of explaining something about a project. You know, just normal office complaining. And I remember looking at him, but suddenly he wasn't talking anymore. He was just staring at me.
Waiting for you to finish the sentence.
Exactly. Except I hadn't finished it. Because apparently I just stopped.
Stop talking.
Stopped everything. You said I froze mid-sentence, just standing there with my mouth half open.
That's always a great look in the workplace.
Yeah, apparently I held that pose for like 3 seconds.
3 seconds isn't that long.
That's what he said, but it didn't feel like 3 seconds to me.
What did it feel like?
Like I stepped out of the room for a moment. Not asleep. Just gone. Everything went white for a second. Not bright white, just blank. Like the world hit pause.
Did you feel dizzy? Lightheaded?
No, that's the weird part. I felt totally normal. Then he grabbed my shoulder and said, "Dude, you stopped talking."
And then you were right back in the room.
Yeah, like nothing happened, but it definitely did.
Did anything about that white space stick with you? Shapes, sounds, anything like that?
No, just that feeling that I wasn't where I was supposed to be, if that makes sense.
It actually does. Stranger things have happened on this show.
Yeah, well, I figured this might be the only place I could mention it without people looking at me funny.
Yeah, we specialize in that here. Well, Alex, I appreciate you calling in tonight and sharing that. If it happens again, I definitely would be curious to hear about it.
Yeah, if it does, I'll call back.
All right, Alex, thanks for the call tonight. Stay safe out there.
You too.
All right, we have Darren on the line tonight. Darren, welcome to GhostLine. Where are you calling from?
Yeah. Western Corridor, District 14.
District 14. All right, Darren. What happened?
I was in an elevator at work, just me and another guy. We're going from level 6 to level 3, normal ride. Then the doors opened, and the hallway wasn't there.
What do you mean it wasn't there?
Just white, like a fog, for a second. Then the doors closed again, and the elevator kept moving. When it opened the next time, the normal hallway was back.
Did the other guy react?
No. He walked out like nothing happened.
Interesting. Well, Darren, thanks for your call tonight. Keep an eye on those elevators.
Thanks for taking my call.
All right, let's get back to the phones. GhostLine Maya, you're on the air. Maya, welcome to GhostLine. Where are you calling from tonight?
Seattle lakefront area. Corridor.
Seattle checking in tonight. What's been happening, Maya?
I think I've been having dream fragments during the day.
All right, that sounds interesting. Tell me about it.
Well, yesterday, I was walking home from work, middle of the afternoon. Cars going by, people everywhere, totally normal. Then, suddenly, for about half a second, I saw something else.
Something else?
Like a different place
How?
layered over everything. Just a flash.
And what did it look like?
A horizon. But everything was white. Like fog stretching forever.
Were you tired? Had you been sleeping poorly?
No, that's the strange part. I felt completely awake. It was like my brain switched channels for a second, and then it snapped back.
Did the world around you change at all when this happened?
No, everything was exactly where it should be. But for that tiny moment, it felt like I was somewhere else.
Did it scare you?
No, not really. More like confusion. Like when you remember a dream for a split second and then it fades.
Interesting. You're not the first person tonight describing a little hiccup in reality.
Wait, really?
You're in good company tonight.
That actually makes me feel better.
Well, Maya, thank you for calling and sharing that with us. If those flashes happen again, keep paying attention to what you see. Sometimes small details turn out to matter.
I'll definitely keep an eye on it.
All right, Maya. Thanks for the call tonight.
Thank you, Julian.
GhostLine, you're on the air.
Hello, Julian.
Hello there. Who am I speaking with tonight?
Brandon. I'm calling from Asheville Residential Zone 4.
Welcome to the show, Brandon. What's happening?
Okay, this is small, but it keeps happening. I'll look at the clock, and then suddenly it's a minute later. But I don't remember that minute.
Like losing track of time.
No, that's the thing. I'll be standing there, wide awake, then the clock jumps. Like time skipped a frame.
All right, Brandon, how often does this happen?
3 times this week, and once while I was driving.
That one probably got your attention.
Yeah, because the road had moved. I was farther down the highway. But I didn't remember driving that part.
That's unsettling.
Yeah. Feels like the day is stuttering.
Well, Brandon, I appreciate you calling tonight. If those little skips keep happening, keep paying attention. Sometimes patterns start small.
Yeah, that's exactly why I called.
Thanks for sharing with us tonight.
Thank you, Julian.
All right, Evan's waving at me here. Looks like we have Carla waiting. Carla, you're on GhostLine. Where are you calling from tonight?
North Residential Zone, near Corridor 3.
All right, Carla, what did you notice?
A street sign disappeared. Not removed, just gone.
Gone how?
I walk the same route every morning. There used to be a name on the corner. Yesterday it was blank. Just a metal plate, no letters.
Maybe maintenance replaced it.
That's what I thought. When I asked someone at work what the street used to be called, no one remembered.
Not even you.
I know I knew it, but I can't remember the name anymore.
That's an odd
It's
one.
just missing.
Carla, thanks for calling tonight.
Thanks for listening.
We're going with line 4 next. We've got Soren on the line. Where are you calling from, Soren?
Hi, Julian. I'm calling from Michigan, Route 11, District 1.
Soren from Michigan. Thanks for joining us tonight. How are you holding up?
Honestly, I've been nervous. But also, I've been thinking a lot, and I wanted to finally share this with someone who might understand.
You're in the right place. Go ahead and take your time.
I've noticed memories that I don't remember living. Random flashes, like I'm seeing someone else's life. Faces I've never met, places I've never been. Sometimes I can even remember conversations, words, tones, everything. But I can't place myself in them. And the strange part is, they feel like mine.
That's pretty heavy. Can you describe one of these memories?
Well, there's one that sticks out. I'm in a small room, walls painted pale green. There's a window letting in light, a wooden desk with paper scattered. I'm speaking to someone, I don't know who, and I feel an urgent sense of importance, like I have to remember exactly what is being said. But when I try to recall it consciously, it slips away.
And that's the core of these experiences. Fleeting clarity, slipping from conscious control. How often does this happen?
More lately, sometimes multiple times a day, and it's disorienting. I keep wondering if I'm losing my mind, or if these are something else, something external.
It's understandable to feel lost, but noticing these experiences, giving them language, sharing them, that's how we learn to navigate them. You're not losing your mind, Soren. You're paying attention to threads most people never see.
That helps to hear that. I feel like if I keep it inside, it grows darker, but saying it aloud, it eases.
Exactly, and that's why this space exists. We witness, we reflect, we normalize the extraordinary. Soren, thank you for trusting us. That takes courage, and your words will resonate more with listeners than you know.
Thank you, Julian. Really, I appreciate it.
You're welcome, and thank you, Soren. Thanks for calling. All right, back to the phones. Evan's telling me we have Louie on the line. Louie, you're on GhostLine. Where are you calling from?
South Virginia, Logistics Corridor, Sector 9.
All right, Louie, what's going on?
I work nights, shipping hub. About 3 nights ago, the whole corridor went quiet. No machines, no trucks, nothing.
Power outage?
No, lights stayed on. Everything just stopped. For maybe 5 seconds. Then all the machines started again at the exact same time.
Did anyone else notice?
Yeah, but nobody said anything. We just kept working, like it was normal.
Sometimes the silence is stranger than the noise.
Thanks, Julian. That's all I got. Just letting you know.
Louie, thanks for calling tonight. All right, back to the lines. Who's joining us tonight?
Hi, Julian. My name's Derek. I'm calling from Chicago, District Hub 14. I've been hesitant to call, honestly, but I've been noticing some unusual patterns in my life, things I can't explain, and it's been weighing on me.
Derek from Chicago. Thank you for trusting us with that. It's not easy to speak these things out loud. Specifically, what's been happening?
Over the past few months, I've started noticing that certain people appear in my life repeatedly, in ways that seem impossible. Not coincidence, like the timing, the context, the conversations. They're almost too precise to be random. And it's not always comforting. Sometimes it feels like someone is orchestrating it or watching.
Interesting. So there's this sense of pattern, almost as if your life has subtle nudges embedded in it. Are these people you know, strangers, or a mix?
A mix. Friends, acquaintances, even complete strangers. For instance, I might see someone at the coffee shop today and then run into them in a different neighborhood later that day. An impossible overlap. And they remember nothing of our previous encounter, but I do.
That must be disorienting. You're experiencing echoes that others can't perceive. How does it make you feel in that moment?
Confused, uneasy. Sometimes I question my own memory. But other times it's fascinating, like I'm tapping into a layer of reality most people never notice.
Exactly, and that's the edge that we explore on GhostLine. These intersections between memory, perception, and coincidence, the uncanny threads that seem to weave a hidden pattern. Have you tried tracking these encounters in any way?
I've kept notes, tried recording times, locations, even taking photos. But even with documentation, the patterns shift, the anomalies persist, and they never line up in a predictable way.
That's the porous nature of experience. Events resisting confinement to linear understanding. Derek, thank you for sharing that. It's not easy to articulate these experiences, and even fewer can describe them so clearly.
Thanks, Julian. It's good to say it out loud. Makes me feel less like I'm going crazy.
You're not crazy, you're attentive. You're noticing subtle signals that most people overlook. Derek, thank you for calling tonight. Keep observing, keep recording, and remember that your attention itself is a rare and valuable thing. All right, friends, we'll take a short pause and then bring in our next voice. You ever lose a few seconds and not remember where they went? I don't mean falling asleep. I mean you're there and then you're not. And when you come back, everything looks the same, but it doesn't feel the same, like reality skipped. Evan just wrote on the board, that's called zoning out. Thank you, Evan. Groundbreaking work as always. But that's not what I mean. I'm talking about the kind where you're not sure you stayed here. Let's go to the line. You're on GhostLine. Who are we talking to?
My name's Matt, and I don't really know how to explain this properly.
That's usually a good start.
Yeah, okay, so I think something glitched. Not like a ghost or anything, just something got weird.
All right, walk me through it.
I was in my kitchen, nothing weird. I just made coffee. I was standing there checking my phone. And then everything just went white.
White how? But
Not like a light. Not like I got dizzy. It was like the room was gone. Like someone erased it.
you were still aware.
Yeah, that's the thing. I didn't pass out. I was still present. Just nowhere. And then suddenly I wasn't in my kitchen anymore. I was standing in front of someone.
Standing where?
I don't know. It looked like maybe their living room. There was a table and a couch behind them. I didn't recognize anything but the person. They looked right at me.
So they saw you?
Yeah, they did. And not like confused, like scared. Like I wasn't supposed to be there. I tried to say something. I don't even know what, just hey or something. But it felt like my voice wouldn't work. Like trying to shout underwater. So I reached out instead, just instinct, and they kind of leaned back like I was actually there.
Did you touch them?
No. No. It's like my hand didn't get that far, or something pulled me back. And then I was back in my kitchen, like nothing happened. Coffee still in my hand, phone still open.
How long do you think you were gone?
A second, maybe two, but it didn't feel like a second.
Let me ask you something. What if that person is telling a story right now about someone appearing in front of them?
You mean like I was the ghost?
Or the interruption?
There's one thing I didn't say.
Go ahead.
They were trying to say something too. I couldn't hear it, but I could see their mouth moving.
Do you know what they said?
I think they said, "Can you hear me?"
Matt, if that happens again, try to listen.
Yeah, okay.
Thanks for the call.
Thanks for listening to me, Julian.
All right, back to the lines. We have Lena on the line. Lena, you're on GhostLine. Hello, Lena.
Hi, this might be nothing, but what the last guy said, it kind of reminded me of something.
Go on.
A couple of nights ago, I was sitting in my living room, and I swear, it felt like someone was there.
You saw someone?
No, not exactly. It was more like the space in front of me wasn't empty. I got this really strong feeling that if I looked up, I'd see someone standing there.
But you didn't.
No, I didn't. I couldn't. I don't know why, I just didn't. But I did something weird. I almost said something out loud.
What were you going to say?
Can you hear me?
Did anything else happen?
No, it just passed.
All right. Lena, if you ever decide to look up, call me back.
I will. Thank you, Julian.
Thanks for your call, Lena. Sometimes I wonder if moments don't disappear, they just miss each other. Same hour, same frequency. GhostLine, you're on the air. Graham, welcome to the program. Where are you calling from?
Chicago, Lakefront Corridor, Area 5, District 5.
Chicago on the line tonight. What's on your mind?
So the weird thing is, it didn't happen to me. It happened to people I work with.
All right, tell me about it.
Okay, 3 different co-workers this week zoned out mid-conversation. Like, they just froze.
Similar to what our first caller described tonight, correct?
Exactly. One of them was talking during a meeting and just stopped. Stared straight ahead for a couple of seconds. Then she snapped back and kept talking like nothing happened.
Did she remember it?
Sort of. She said it felt like she was standing somewhere else. Somewhere quiet. Like a big empty room. But she couldn't remember much about it. Just that it felt familiar somehow.
That's an interesting word choice. Familiar.
Yeah, that's exactly what she said. Familiar. Which is weird because she also said she'd never seen a place like that before.
Did anyone else describe something similar?
2 other people had the same freeze moment, but they didn't remember anything about it. Just missing seconds.
That's quite a pattern.
Yeah, that's why I called. It feels like something odd is happening.
Well, Graham, I appreciate you bringing that to the show tonight. It's always interesting when these kinds of experiences start appearing in clusters.
Yeah, that's exactly what it feels like.
All right, Graham, thanks for calling in tonight.
Thank you, Julian.
Strange night tonight. A few of you described something similar. Little interruptions, tiny gaps in the day, moments where it almost feels like reality skipped a beat. Could be stress, could be fatigue, could be nothing at all. But sometimes when enough people start describing the same edges, it's worth paying attention to. We're going to go to commercial.
What do you see when you see your